Okay, so what we are going to do in this session is we are going to do something like a typing animation. So for that, in the first place, we are just going to go ahead to a solution. So what is typing animation in the first place? So if you go to Google and search for typing animation, you'll see it's nothing but show me the images. Huh? Yeah. So it's something like this, where you have some text going on and off from the screen as if someone is typing that. So that's what we are trying to achieve. So first of all, what's the requirement? We need a screen which shows typing animation. Okay, and what else do we need? So for configuration, it's going to be um, text or array of text that needs to be mm, that needs to be uh, shown in typing animations in rotation basis. Okay, so for this we'll probably be storing this in a collection, and let's see. So I'm trying this out directly, no script, no nothing. So we'll end up facing some issues. We'll have some blockers as well, but probably we'll figure out how to do this. So first of all, I'm just going to go into a solution which I already have. Okay, I'll just create a new solution. How do I need to? Okay, I already have an app which is called. So basically, you always do everything in your solution. But I did a dumb thing and named my solution as countdown timer when I'd probably be using the same app for doing multiple things. So I'll just go ahead and create a new solution. It's going to say it's productivity, something like that, and click stream. And because I already have the app, instead of saying new, I'll just click on add existing canvas app, which is inside Dataverse because I already added it. This is the name. Here we just wait for it to get added and then edit it, edit a new tab. Okay, so we're just going to reuse the same app for multiple of our projects. So this container has this one. Let me just say this is a countdown container on the home screen, and So I'm just going to basically add one more container, which is probably going to be my horizontal one. And in here, first of all, I just want this to be on the top. The second thing is this, instead of having flexible height, I'll just have it to a fixed height. Oh, so it needs to scroll. So scroll is enabled. Okay. Scroll is enabled. This has, let's say, 600. Too much. 400. Little less. 100. I guess that's the right spot, or 450. Yeah. That was the countdown timer. And over here we're just going to add one more. It's going to copy this text label and just rename this. Copy, paste, and forward. This is going to be our typing animation. And all we need is one input, which is our text, another input which would probably be the speed, we'll see, and then one more input which will be, you know, navigate to the typing animation screen. Yeah, so let's try to do that, and then I'll add a container first, and in here it's going to add obviously one more container. Probably I'll just go with a button, and this button is just to start animation, and like that. So this button looks a little bit ugly compared to this one, because this one is a modern one. This one is the classic. So let me add a modern button instead of classic, just to stick to the same sort of UI. Start animation. It probably needs to be 120, 140. Yeah. And you're going to add a slider, which is for selecting the speed. Text input, which is our actual text that needs to be inputted or rotated. So the minimum width is 0. This is going to be multi-line, and height is 90. Probably I'll just stick with 90 for now. The overall height of this, I just want to click it to flexible height. No, let's go with a fixed height of 300, 250. Yep, looks good. And everything set. Same thing with this. Center. Okay, and this probably needs to display. Let's just go with this for now. There's no default. Enter new line separated. Scroll text, or new line separated text. That's it. Scroll this. This one needs to be full width. Now what I'm going to do is, this is a test. This is another test. It's going to copy this Probably I'll just be reusing this under default. And when someone says, so speed, I'll not touch the speed for now. Animation on select, we need to navigate it to the new screen, which is going to be our Titan's animation screen. Screen, and let's go here and select that. We are just going to say navigate. Come on, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm using the modern controls. Autocorrect is not working properly. Anyway, I don't want to have a transition. The place is to cover, and then our scope context variable. This context variable is going to pass both the text. So okay, let's just call it word text, and then this is text input 1 dot text, and then speed is slider 1 dot value. Okay, now let's click on this. We came over here. Okay, now it's the real fun that starts. So this is where we're going to start. So we're going to say a label. I'm just going to give it full width, and before that I need to add a container, and this will start at 0 0 all the way to parent dot width, and then the height will be parent dot height. The parent in this case is the screen itself, which means it's going to cover the full screen, and I'm just going to move this inside the container, give it flexible width, flexible height. Let's just go with that. Text in the center, let's just do 22, and the text. So this is where things are going to turn out to be fun. So the text is going to be what text, okay, but we don't want to show everything at once. So let's just start with one liner instead of going for multiple lines. We want to achieve the first test case, not test case, is we want to achieve the first thing, which is having that cutting animation. So I'll just go with word text, and we definitely need a type control, and the duration is, let's say 500 milliseconds, like 1 letter per half a second. Sounds good. Auto start, auto repeat, and over here what we're going to do is on our end we are just going to have, so when we come to the screen, let's just add on visible of context, and this is going to be our character counter. Okay, and this, let's set this to 0 first. This character counter is nothing but how many characters to show. So when it's going in this way, it's going to be like 0, which is there's nothing, and then 1 2 3 4 until the full length of the text, and then it's going to go back in the reverse direction. So we are just going to add direction control as well, or forward direction, is true. So initially it's going in the forward direction, and then we are going to get it back in the reverse direction. So it makes sense to add that variable, which is going to be useful for us. And var current text. So because we are trying to do a rotation between, we get a multi-line, and then we are trying to get the first one, run it through the animation, go to the second one, run it through the animation, right? So we need to know what's the current text. So obviously we have the var current text. And let's see, what else do we need? We definitely need a collection. So I'm just going to say clear collect call, because this is a collection, call text. I guess that's generic enough for it to work. And this is going to be, we want to split whatever we are getting from here with a new line, which is 10 or 30, I believe. Let's see, let me try. So this is test 2, test 3. So I'm doing new line, and when I select split by new line, yeah, this is correct. So let me remove this vertex, and we need to add index as well to each of these. How do we add index? Can we add index? Let's see. So what I'll do is, initially this used to be a drop down. You click on that, it gives you a full list of all the functions, and you will be able to get the documentation for each of those, but it looks like they removed it. Okay, but let's start with this and see where this goes. And this is no longer var text, this is going to be our current text. Okay, and we want to do a blink, so this is going to be like this, and this needs to be shown on and off. So okay, let's do it and see what happens. So on time event, we're just going to say update context var character counter is var character if direction this is going to be var forward direction. If it's forward direction, then we are going to do +1, or we are just going to do -1. And this is going to be var character counter plus, and based on the direction, +1 or +-1, which is like -1. Close this, and each time the timer ends, the character is going to increase, but at the same time, once it hits the end, we need to know when it hits the end. So even before updating this one, we are going to check if var char counter equals to var current text length. So to find the length, we are going to use the length function. So length of the text, if it's equal to this, then update context, var direction. This is going to be we are going to set this to false. Okay, if the direction is, if it's full width, but okay, let's do this first. So we reverse the direction as soon as the char counter length is equal to, so let's do a switch. I believe we need to do a switch because we need to switch the direction. Instead of doing a condition, we'll be like, whatever the char counter is, if it's equal to length of this, then update the context to be this, or else if it's equal to 0, okay, because we are doing minus, then the forward direction is true, and this should work if I'm not wrong. And over here we're just going to say left of left of, come on bro, this is acting funny, but what I was trying to say is, come on, left of, okay, number of characters to display. This is our word counter. Let's see, number of characters. Okay, so our character counter, and let's see how this works. Start animation. We did not set current text, so current text is empty. We're just going to set this to our text at the very beginning. So it's horrible. Speed is horrible. Let's say 50 instead of 100. Let's see how this works. Might be too fast, but let's see the difference first. Yep. This is awesome. This is awesome. And let's add a delay of how much? What delay? Let's just say 1000 milliseconds. Okay. So whenever we are trying to switch, what we are going to do is we are going to wait 1 second before flipping the direction. Okay, so how do we wait for 1 second? So to wait, we need to stop doing this var cat counter. So to stop doing this, I'm just going to say if var delay, come on, var delay, if it's equal to 0, only then do this, or else update the context with var delay is var delay minus this one, select the duration basically, and this is as long as it's greater than 0, keep reducing it. If it's equal to 0 or less than 0, just do your direction thing. And when are we going to set this back is when we move to the complete end. So before turning back, I want to set this war delay to be 1000. Okay, let's see if this works. Saving this, put back home, play, start animation. It's doing nothing after that, which basically means this if condition, whenever the timer ends, this is not getting satisfied, and this is not getting satisfied because if, as long so let's check this is the current value. This is 950. This is 950. Initial value, I'll set this to 0. I don't know what's going on. Let's check one more time. This is a test, and then it stops over there. And let's do one more thing. I'll insert a label, which is going to be delay, start animation. Yep, and it's not going down. It's not going down. This means, so if this is greater than 0, which is true, war delay is war delay minus self-dot duration, and self-dot duration is 50. This is supposed to work. This is supposed to work. Let's see, format the text for searching for anything. Okay, if character counter length is this, then do this. Let's, might be because it's always setting back to yeah, looks like I got it. Let's confirm. Right, counter is -1. Okay, let's try this. Go back home screen, let it save, start animation. This is a test. It's going to 0, but it's coming back again. So at least this one is moving. Now this is 14. This is 15. So this condition is not satisfied, and this is not satisfied. So we'll move forward to this. It's checking if delay is greater than 0. If yes, it's reducing this, or else it's moving forward with the counter saying the stuff. What should I do this? Okay, we are going to flip the direction and do the delay only when the length matches and the direction is forward. Okay, let's see how this works. Let me remove this first. What's error? Switch has some invalid arguments. It's doing an equality check, so that's why. So instead I'll just do, should not be doing this over here, but to make it work. Come on. Okay. Let's fingers crossed. I hope this works. Start. It does that. Waits for a second. Goes back. Comes back. Awesome. That's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And on the start, instead of doing this var text, what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it, paste it here, and then instead of var text, this is going to be okay, let's do a text indexer as well. Var text index, this is going to be 0 in the first place, and probably I need to set this. Okay, anyways, so this is going to be index, there's index function to get called text, and then I'll pass 0 because initially I just need to fetch the first one, and the next time whenever this thing happens, okay, what happened? Dot value, I did not do that. Okay, whenever this thing happens and it's switching back to the forward direction, we need to set var current text to be index of called text, comma var text index, and before that I'm going to update context. Var text index is if count rows of called text if count rows of called text is greater than text index, then we need to set the text index to 0, or else var text index +1. Let's see. Again, dot value, I forgot. So what I'm basically trying to say is the text, let's say there are 3 rows of text A, B, C. So the text index should be 0, 1, 2. So basically what I'm trying to say over here, when you say count rows, it's 3. Okay, maybe I need to check the other way. As long as this is greater than, the number of rows is greater than text index, then increment it. But for the third one, it's going to be 2 and this is going to be 3. So let's do this. So as long as this is greater than or equals, let's try, and then we'll see how things will turn out. This is a test. 1 2 3 4 5 6. This one, not machine. Nothing worked. Something is wrong. And this is because, yeah, index must be 1 and 3. So what we are saying is not working. Aha. So you're saying index 0 would not work. It needs to be 1. Then it makes things simpler. Oh yeah, I don't need to do +1. Okay, this is good. This is good. But still, over here, what does this give me? Must be 1 and 3. And when I say 1, this is the text. Let's do 0 over here, the initial value. This is a test. 1 second, hold, go back, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Second hold, go back, this, second hold, go back, and done. So for the last one, very last iteration, I guess something is happening. So for the very last iteration, which is usually flipping of direction, okay, it must be 1 and 3. So once the last one is done, we no longer need to come over here, or we do. Okay, we do need to come over here. So let's try this. Okay, still throws error. This time I'm just going to switch this with var text index. This is set to 0. Okay, I realize what's going on. 1. Okay. Start. Okay. Okay. There we go. That's it. So we done everything. I'll just hide this because I don't want this to be shown. So that's all. So I'll just give you a brief overview of what we have done. So we have our inputs over here, which is text input and a start animation. The speed, probably, okay, let's add the speed as well while I'm just doing this. So the speed is slider on that value, which is between 1 and 100, 0 and 100, I guess. Let's see. Where is it? Min max values. Okay, 50, 100, 0 to 100. So what we have done is we are passing the text, which is multiple lines of text, and when we hit the on visible, we are separating this multi-line text with new line character using the split function, and the new line character value is this one, the character code. And then once we do that, we are setting up some initial variables, which is like the character counter, the direction of the animation, the current text. And to get the current text, we already have the collection. I'm just saying that get the first value out of it and then show it. And then we have a delay, how long we want to stop after a particular animation. Right now I'm setting it to 1000. So let's have that configurable as well. So for default delay, so I'll show you where I'm going to add this. And then var text index. So this is like which part of text from the collection do we need to get, like the index 1 2 3 4 5 6, because the timer end is running first. I'm just setting this to be this. So yeah, so on the timer, so we have a text label in the first place. So after the on visible, we are going to text. In the text, what we are saying is get the current text, get the left these many characters, and these many characters is nothing but your var character counter. And I'm just adding this for aesthetic purpose. And we have the timer, and the timer is set to run for 50 milliseconds, but this is going to change. This is going to be var speed. Okay, is it not the right name I gave over here? Okay, speed. Okay, var speed. So that's the duration, like how much fast it should run. And the text is, we are not going to show the timer anyway, so it doesn't matter what the text is. We are setting the properties repeat to true, auto start true, auto pause. We don't need this, but because we are moving out of the screen and coming back in, probably I'm just going to have it there. And whenever the timer ends, so that's where all our logic is residing. So on timer end, we are just saying, okay, character counter, that's our main like index kind of thing for the text animation. So we are saying if the length of the character counter is equal to length of the text, then just flip the direction. How do we flip the direction? By setting the var forward direction value to be true or false, which we are using down below to set the direction, like to increment the character counter or decrement the character counter, which is like scrolling the text. And then we have the delay. Each time we end, before going backward, we are setting the value for 1000 milliseconds, which is like 1 second. And then the second case is if the character counter value is 0, which means it came back after one iteration, then we are saying we need to get the next text. So how do we get the next text? By setting the text index and then getting from the collection the text at that particular index. So we are saying text index if so this condition is to check, once you are done with the last row, we need to go back to the first row. So we are saying is, have you already crossed however many items there were? If yes, sorry, if no, then increment the index, go to the next one. If yes, go to the first index, which is like the very first item in the collection. And then we have one more, which is setting the direction. So once we hit the other end, we need to go back. So we need to do a fresh start. So we are saying forward direction, yes. Current text is wherever the index is from the collection, get that text. And this is a logic where we are doing the delay. So we are saying right after everything, we are saying, okay, if the delay is greater than 0, which means there is some value in the delay, then just decrement it. So this is because this is 1 second, so 50 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds. We are deducting it as long as the delay value is there. And once it hits 0, we are saying, okay, start your counter. It starts. That's all. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's try to run it one last time, because we have the speed as well. I'm just going to set the speed to be a little faster this time. Yeah. Yep. Sounds, it works perfect. And the other one that I was saying is setting the default instead of 1000 milliseconds. We are just going to say var default delay, so that we can have all our configurations in one place, which is over here. And then here, instead of saying 1000, I'll just say 500 because it's like stopping for too long. Start animation. Done. Yeah, this is perfect. Awesome. Super. That's all for this session. Ciao.